Hello everybody and welcome to All Sports Weekly episode 6. My name is Trevor and with me this week I have Lenny. How you doing?
Howdy.
How are we feeling?
A bit dusty to be honest, Trev.
Yes, we had the Super Bowl yesterday and I feel like I played. That's how I feel this morning. How are you feeling there, Lenny, after our Super Bowl experience?
I've got one word for you. Cause.
Cause?
Cause.
Oh, cause.
C-O-O-R-S, cause.
Not C-A-U-S, cause.
Yeah.
From the Rocky Mountains. Yes, we watched the Super Bowl yesterday, like I'm sure a few of you did, and got fairly well hydrated. So we're doing our best, so bear with us please today. That's what I've been watching this week, a little bit of tennis, a little bit of the Big Bash. Have you watched anything else other than the Super Bowl this week, man?
Not much, mate. When you work as hard as I do, Trev.
Well, I was wondering how long that would take, and it was the first minute, so... Yeah, you just all things to all people. Okay, so let's talk about that straight away. Let's talk about the Super Bowl yesterday. Buccaneers 31, Chiefs 9. Tom Brady 7th Super Bowl ring out of 10 appearances. Pretty much they were all over him. What did you think of the match, mate?
Well, considering I haven't seen a game in 2 years, but I did win the NFL tipping this season. Yeah, it was good. It was very good, actually.
Yeah.
Very physical defence. I was surprised from Tampa Bay. I hadn't heard much about them throughout the year being a force in defence, but they were very physical. They just shut down most of the attack of Chiefs most of the day. So
Yeah, I'm not quite sure if the Chiefs' offense was as disappointing as people are saying. I mean, they were, or was it that the Buccaneers' defense was so good? Whichever way you want to look at it, they smashed the Chiefs. They smashed them.
yeah,
I mean, if you'd have told me before the match that Chiefs won't get one touchdown, Mahomes, he showed some glimpses of brilliance, but just smashed. Tom Brady, how good
the GOAT.
he is. I mean, is there any doubt? Is it even a conversation?
Kyle, is he the GOAT?
Yeah, so your friend of yours? Yeah, but the guy, he's playing next year. You'd be brave to write him off. 10 Super Bowls, I mean, it's unbelievable. Yeah. Played a good game too, had patience with the ball, didn't throw any picks, some really good passes. Gronkowski, 2 touchdowns, I mean, the Brady-Gronkowski connection, it's just great, in 2021. Gronkowski, one of the best players on the field, comes out of retirement. Patriots have to be wondering what they've done. How did we let these two go?
He's a unit, that Gronk.
Yeah.
Gee.
Woo. Yeah. So it was a great day. The best team won, and I mean, from a sort of purist point of view, it wasn't the greatest game because really the Buccaneers, the scoreline probably flattered the Chiefs a little bit. But well played to Tampa Bay. Party in Tampa, super spreading event, no doubt. Half time was pretty cool. It was just a great day, and I look forward to it next year.
We led the way in the Tampa Bay festivities here when fourth quarter was pretty much done and dusted. It was
we got pretty festive.
Today's podcast was in jeopardy for a while.
It was a little bit rough, but we get there. Okay, cricket, mate. Let's talk a little bit about the cricket.
What are we talking first, Trev?
Well,
should we talk Test or are we talking Big Bash final?
We're going to talk Big Bash first.
There we go. The heater.
Excellent. Didn't know that was going to happen. The Big Bash final last weekend. Sydney Sixers, too good for Perth. Pretty good game. Yeah. Did you watch it?
Nah, a few bits I did. I saw a bit of it, but...
Yeah. Well, so Sydney obviously finished first to the regular season. Had won the first finals game to get that week off in the home final. I was wondering if maybe a week off was going to do them a bit of a disservice, but that wasn't the case. They looked pretty well rested, well tuned. With COVID and the test and everything that's happening, Sydney hadn't played a game at the SCG all season, so their first home game was the final, which was interesting.
A lot of that sort of stuff this year with COVID.
And their record there is excellent. I didn't know this. As BBL being fairly transient and up and down, their record at the SCG is really good. So whether that played a part, I'm not really sure. But they got 188, 6 out. James Vince, once again, the second game in a row, he got out in the 90s, but, great knocks both times.
Is he a Kiwi or an Englishman?
He, I believe, is a Pom.
Yeah,
Yeah, pretty sure. Perth, pretty gallant, got 161 in reply, 27 runs there, but pretty, we've talked at length about the Big Bash being a bit long, maybe. I think that's sort of,
I thought you were talking about that before on the podcast. Yeah,
what do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think, a bit like the NFL, shorter is better, make it primo games. In Australia over the school holidays, the summer, that's the time to be having all the kids love the Big Bash, so that's the time to put it on. Have the final before they go back to school. I think you get lots of people, you'll fill your stadiums, ratings will stay high. Yeah, any more than that, you're killing it. You're trying to milk it for more than
trying to milk it, yeah. And they are making money, and that is what it is all about. I see it both ways. I agree with you, but also I do like coming home after work and seeing it on at night. But yeah, with kids and stuff, and also daylight savings as well. They're on late. We're an hour behind, so for us, first ball's at 6:15, which is okay. But if on a school night, 7:15 the game starts, it goes till after 10 o'clock local time. You've got kids. It's too long, too late. That's right. Too much.
And for early risers like myself, I'm up at 3:30. I don't want to be watching something after 8 or 9 or 10.
You want to be tucked away in your little bed.
Getting my beauty sleep.
Yeah.
It's not working so
Should go to sleep for a month. Yeah. Well, congratulations to Sydney. That's 3 wins. There's been 10 Big Bash years. Sydney have won 3 and Perth have won 3. So the 2 dominant teams. There's a little side story about the Melbourne Stars, who are they call themselves the glamour team. They call themselves that. I don't think anyone else did. They're one of only 2 franchises that has not won the Big Bash.
Okay.
And they're pretty salty. There's I see a lot of what's wrong with us, rhetoric. Didn't make the finals this year. I will say, if you have a look at the players that they've had in the 10 years, it is a very, very good list of players. But they've just never managed to rock up for the finals and win. So, terrible, isn't it?
Can't all be perfect.
Can't all be all winners. So, in case you're wondering, Hobart and Melbourne Melbourne Stars are the only 2 teams that haven't won. Out of the 8 teams, 6 teams have won it.
Punters, Hobart, never won it, eh?
Never won it, but they sort of, they've come close. But Melbourne are really regarded as underachieving. So.
Which one, the Renegades?
No, the Stars.
Oh, sorry, the Stars.
The Stars, yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Started off with season 1 with Warney, and they've had everybody has gone in there. This year, obviously, Glenn Maxwell.
The big show, he was there for a while, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's hot and cold. Yeah. So, and with the cricket, the Test, the tour to South Africa is, are you going to change? Yeah. The tour to South Africa is not happening. So this is going to have some interest in the Sheffield Shield now.
Sheffield Shield should be great. Full strength teams, and I'm really looking forward to it. As you know, I'm always after the Shield, and the first half of the season was great. I watched Schwepson bowl Queensland to a couple of outrights on the last day. I think possibly Labuschagne was with him in one of those games. But yeah, no, very good, exciting cricket to watch. 4-day, long form, beautiful.
Yeah, with Big Bash being so prevalent and also the international commitments, it would have been a long time since all the Australian Test players are playing Shield.
It's almost never happened because there's always other cricket happening. So even before COVID, before 2020 cricket, it'd always get pilfered for Test matches, or there'd be overlap. So,
disappointing as it is to not have the South African Tests, this could be really good. We need our players playing more long form cricket.
100%.
This is, could be good.
I'm not quite sure what's happening with the ball, but in the last few years we have been mixing her up with the Kookaburra for half the season and the Duke for the other half of the season. I'm not sure how that's panned out this year. I haven't been following it up enough.
No, I'm not sure about this year. I've heard about that too. I understand that, but really that's a bit of a joke to me, personally.
Yeah.
There should be a ball that we use, and we want to play as much with that as possible. Yeah. It is weird that there is a different ball in different parts of the world, and I think everyone thinks the Duke ball's better.
I would, if I had to choose one, I would have the Duke all around the world. It moves around a bit more, and especially now we're in a post-COVID environment or COVID environment where you can't put saliva and goodness knows what on it. The ball's not moving much, and we keep making bland pitches. So you want a Duke ball, it's going to swing a bit. It's got a more pronounced seam.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Having the different ball in the same game, I'm playing day one with this and day two.
It's half the season and then half the season.
Is it?
Yeah.
I heard about there was a game where they were changing in the game a couple of years ago.
Right.
But I hear that and I'm just going, God, what's going on?
Silly.
You know?
It worked out well. Like the last season, I remember the games where the Duke ball was played in the Sheffield Shield were very exciting. Like low scores, and some people saying, "Oh, this is no good, low scores." But really, like
low scoring is good if it means bat against ball.
You've got a test team batting lineup at the moment for Australia at least, and a lot of batting teams around the world. They can't bat against a swinging ball, a spinning ball, so you want practice against that.
Matty Renshaw, thoughts?
He's my golden boy, along with Siddle. I hope he gets back in the setup, of course. At this stage,
he's not even mentioned, is he? He's not even in the mix.
Maybe he's upset a few people, but he hasn't got runs on the board, so until that happens, he's not even going to be in the mix, unfortunately. But
no better time than now with the Shield games and Queensland and
great time, yeah.
Yeah, so
you're going to have your Bukowskis and you're going to have Warner and whoever else is fit and playing, really putting their name at Harris, all those guys. So yeah.
I see him playing Big Bash. I know Big Bash is a bit different, but he looks like a little bit of a, how do I say this, bit of a jerk. Yeah. I'm not sure about him.
I'm not sure if it's jerky, but he's definitely a bit weird.
Bit eccentric, or
yeah, he's got that. He did that weird dance, and then like he's over the top.
Yeah, he likes it from the outfield. He's given a bit of advice out, and I just wonder how popular he might be in the dressing room, in the inner circle.
Yeah,
hard to say from outside, but he looks like a strange one.
Yeah, I don't think he's like an idiot in that way. I think he just tries too hard. He's got to try hard.
Is he?
I think so. From what I'm seeing, he's really trying hard to fit in. Maybe that's because he got cast out a few times. He got selected and then he got flicked out.
Chicken and the egg, is he?
Exactly.
You know, is that why he got cast out, or yeah, interesting. Anyway, just an observation, but I mean, we've gone through a whole summer and I didn't even hear any credible source mention him ever about playing. So, and he's got a baggy green. So, anyway, mate, let's move on to tennis.
You'll know this one, Trevor. You remember her?
That's Kvitova.
It is the Vit.
Yeah, one of your favourites?
Did I say Vit or did?
Yeah, I digress here. So, Australian Open has started. Most things sort of not most things going to plan, but the big seeds have been winning in the way that Djokovic has won. Novak, as I'm calling him. Serena Williams obviously gets through. She's interesting because she's doesn't play all the tournaments week in, week out. Her ranking isn't so high, but everyone knows how good she is, obviously. So she's ended up getting a number 10 rank, and that's a bit of a wild card because she can go into the draw in all different spots. Whereas the draw you have the top seeds separated and so forth. Serena Williams is that one where she just goes in wherever they put her, and she is in Halep's little section, who's the number 2 seed. So there's a I think a third or fourth round match with Halep looming if it all went to plan.
Barty's got a pretty good draw.
Barty's the number 1 seed, pretty good draw. I had a quick scan of the draw. Obviously, anything can happen, but she looks like a pretty good draw in what I can see. I think Naomi Osaka is in her half, but that wouldn't be till later. So, that'll
for the rankings there.
Yeah, and Barty just, she's got everything ready. Everything's there. She's been at home training. The only thing is match fitness. She hasn't played a proper game in about a year because she didn't go and do the overseas Grand Slams last year in COVID. She stayed home. So she might be a little bit underdone, but she should be pretty fresh. Serena Williams obviously trying to equal Margaret Court's record for Grand Slam wins. Now, I've never been the biggest Serena Williams fan, but the more I hear coming out of Margaret Court's mouth, the more I want Serena Williams to get that record. Do you want to weigh in on this one?
There's not much I can say that you wouldn't censor out of this podcast, Trevor.
No, we don't censor. but I am nervous.
Serena Williams I have zero respect for. As a tennis player, she's great, of course, but she's
not a fan.
Her behaviour is atrocious. And Margaret Court, she distinguished herself while playing, but obviously recent years, what is she? Homophobic? I don't know.
She's very much in the God bother her.
It's just what is it? Israel Folau, that sort of long.
Yeah, that sort of stuff. So, but she sort of comes out and says her to Bob unprompted a fair bit. So that's her opinion, but it doesn't endear me to her at all. And
no, that's right.
It's not. yeah, I don't want to get too far into it, but if Serena Williams was to take over and be the leader, that wouldn't be the worst thing.
Yeah.
Now, John Millman's lost, the local Brisbane hope. Angelique Kerber has been beaten. A couple of people seem to have come out of quarantine a little bit underdone.
Of course, yeah.
And that was always going to be. The guy who had the most to say about Australian quarantining and giving us a fair bit of stick online was this Thomas Sandgren from the United States. He had a fair bit to say on his Insta tweet snap face.
I think you'll get his first name is Tennis.
Tennis?
It is. It's Tenny.
Oh, it's not Thomas.
No.
Tennis Sandgren.
Tennis Sandgren, yeah.
Well, now he's even bigger in it. Well, okay.
When I first heard it, I thought it was a joke. And
I thought it was Thomas.
And then I saw the spelling. Well, I could be wrong, but I'm sure I saw it the other day, yeah.
Tennis Sandgren.
I think it was T.
How good, guys? How good's that? Well, he's got a fair bit of people who want to see him lose. He's playing Alex Dimonor today, Australian.
Young Aussie, yeah.
Be a bit of feeling there. And on a side note, the war of words. Kyrgios won the first round. Him and Novak are just at each other in the media. I'd love to see that game. That would be interesting. There's legit feeling there, which you don't say in tennis very often. So.
And did I see the Aussies, Kyrgios and the 2K, Kyrgios and
Kokonakis
back together in doubles in one of those lead-up tournaments? I'm pretty sure they played together.
Yeah, I know they are friends off the court.
Yeah, and they hadn't been back together since Kokonakis, whatever you call it. He mouthed off about something years ago and got a bit full of himself. And
tennis player mouthing off.
We didn't hear much of him, of his actual tennis ability after that. So, and that space is filled now with Tomic and Kyrgios mouthing off. So.
Nadal playing on with a bit of injury, but from the men's draw, it looks like Djokovic is going to be very, very hard to beat.
I think so.
There's that whole off-the-court stuff, but on the court... Kyrgios would be the one who might just trouble him, because he's gotten under his skin.
If he can get consistent enough just to meet him.
Just to get to him, yeah. I'm not sure where they all fall on the draw on that one. Last week we ran out a bit of a time. We were going to talk about a bit of AFL off-season. Now, I don't like to talk too much off-season stuff, but the big one has got to be Collingwood with the racism, right? Oh, we got another one?
No.
Oh, thank God.
We're at paper props.
A picture that was prompted by the word racism. Oh boy.
Hang on, let me just...
Well, anyway, I digress. You're not a huge AFL fan, but you would have heard the story. Collingwood have asked for a report into their own club culture and so forth. The report's come back pretty damning. Systemic racism over a long period of time. Players with awful nicknames from a senior level. When complaints are made, squash, all this sort of thing. Eddie Maguire got form. Adam Good stuff, we remember all that.
Yeah.
He's got a year to go. Some would say prior to this he's outstayed his welcome. And now he's decided, well, he called it a proud day in the club. And he has decided that the best person to stamp out this is him. He's the guy that this has all happened under, and he's a year from leaving, and he's going to be the one to steer them through this proud day.
Classic wording from someone who wants to retain power on their terms.
Yeah.
In any organisation, whether it be sport or he chose that wording of saying it's a proud moment for the club. He chose one small part of the big picture and chose those words to be highlighted. That's why they're so wrong. Because look at the effect it has on the people who have been gypped basically by their setup on having some recourse to go to. So he has fallen sword.
He's way out of touch, isn't he? Yeah. He's got form, and he just my head it just boggles. And it brings out a lot of really nasty stuff online too. If you see any of that stuff, I'm not stupid. I understand that the internet is the internet, but the AFL sites and clubs they're terrible. Cesspool of keyboard warriors. I don't know if it's just I've noticed it more, but it just seems to me like AFL clubs and their fans. There's an issue there with racism. It's rife.
Okay, right. And of course in NRL and AFL there's high levels of Indigenous involvement in the game, and Islanders and all sorts of...
You don't even flinch an Indigenous player in rugby league, or it's just...
To have the racism still there, then they've both got Indigenous rounds and jerseys and games, it's so ingrained in the sport, it should be an accepted thing. I just don't get why there's so much resistance.
They have an Indigenous round, and then an Indigenous player does an Indigenous dance, and they feel threatened. blows my mind. And obviously there's a lot of good in the AFL community, but there's some idiots though. It really is. It's going to take time, but Eddie Maguire, he sort of symbolises, that white privilege of, like, he's got, how many jobs has he got? He's on radio, he's on Hot Seat, Collingwood. I mean, come on, mate. Go away.
Give someone else a go.
Yeah, go away. The report has basically damned you and your club. Go away.
Maybe they should put Sam Newman in charge of the club.
Don't do that. Don't do that. He's arguably the only one who's a bigger idiot, but anyway. Carolyn Wilson would like that, wouldn't she? All right, mate. Enough to say about that. Bring on the season. Let's forget about all that off-field stuff if we can. And
how will the Bombers go? Good season ahead?
No. No, I feel like the Bombers will be bottom 4. I could be wrong, but I don't see much to look forward to. I think
Lions?
Top 8.
Don't think they'll keep staying up high?
I don't know. Mid-table, top 8. I feel like the big improver will be Melbourne Demons. I feel like they look like they've got everything going in the right direction. A few good recruits. Some players on the up. I think Melbourne will be a decent team.
Okay, cool.
The usual suspects will be up there. Lions, who knows? Last year, obviously, having every game at home, COVID, that sort of helped them. But, I don't think Essendon are going to do much. I feel like there'll be a few Victorian teams down the bottom. Essendon be one of them. I don't know about the likes of Collingwood or Collingwood, struggling a little bit.
Yeah.
Carlton always down that way. So we'll see. But the first games are about 4 weeks away, 5 weeks away. So yeah, mate, we're going to talk a little bit about football, mate. The round ball.
Football?
Yeah.
No rugby league?
Well, we can talk about rugby league if you'd like.
Come on,
Okay, let's talk about rugby league.
briefly.
Okay. How about those Titans?
Hey!
So what's happening, mate?
We're on the up!
Yeah, you've been down in the dumps for a while.
Yeah, mate, we've done the drugs, we've been involved with everything.
Right.
We've got that Jared Haynes and paid over the price.
You sure did.
We've kept one overpriced guy in Ash Taylor, but hopefully he's...
Coming to the end of his deal, though.
Hopefully the money's coming down and the ability's coming up, or the performance is coming up. So, yeah, hopefully with Big Mal's behind everything and he's a winner.
Realistically, all jokes aside, where do you think the Titans will be at the end of the year?
A bit disappointed if we weren't top 8, to be honest.
Yeah.
We were, if we played the full season like we did the second half of the game last year, we were definitely top 8 material. So with more cattle,
The expectations are up there.
we're very high, which is the biggest worry, of course, that we won't reach that and the pressure of all these young break forwards. But
And you're keeping some money aside in case Cameron Smith wants to come along. That's what I'm hearing. $700,000 is sitting there apparently if he wants to play.
Yeah. So if he comes, he comes. If he doesn't, he doesn't. He'd be great. But
What's your intuition like? Do you feel like he will play there next year?
My gut's all over it. I would say not. But
You say no?
I'm nowhere near confident. He's got family up here. That's why the rumours are there. And we've got money. They go to school up here. There's connections.
As I was saying last week, it's a mystery even now, and I can't believe that it is still a mystery, but it is. Let's see what happens. But
it'd also be a great fit. Like, he is looking to settle up here. Mal's not going to be there forever, and having Cameron Smith take over that sort of overseeing role / bit of coaching perhaps, having him in your organisation long term.
Yeah.
How good would that be to have? So.
I mean, even Cameron Smith at the end of his career is be a handy acquisition because he's like a coach on the field at this point, and there's no one better than to change a culture. The word that keeps getting thrown around, culture,
and keep it tight.
Yeah.
For years to come. And
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen that shirt in a while. You got that one out of mothballs, I tell you. Last year, you didn't see that one much.
Yeah. What about
What's
Origin?
underneath that?
Mate,
What do we got now? I was going to talk about football.
Yeah, we'll get there.
State of Origin. Yeah, Paul Green.
Just briefly.
Paul Green.
Greeny's in charge.
Yeah.
I think he's a good.
Thoughts?
I think he'll be good. Yeah.
Is it the job that basically the consolation prize? Because he wanted the Broncos.
That's a bit of the worry that it's not necessarily, and he doesn't have that sort of. He doesn't strike me as an inspirational type thing, but he looks like a real dedicated coach. Like he knows organising everything right, and so. It could be good.
I wonder if this year, if Kevy Walters might have a moment or two where he wants to go back to the Queensland gig and give the Broncos a bit of a rest, because I feel like it's going to be a long year for the Broncos. I feel like the biggest sort of slight on Seabold, the players didn't like him obviously, but they were saying he was inexperienced. Well, you've now got a coach that has never coached an NRL game. I rate Kevy Walters, but I hope he's going into that job with his eyes open, because there's a bit to do there.
I think he'll be okay, but it doesn't help. To be honest, I think it's the roster. They've got plenty of talent. They've just got too many young forwards there. They've got to have a couple of older heads to knock them into shape a bit. So pull your head in. You can't always have your coach doing it. You can't always have the NRL integrity committee doing it. You've got to be your senior players saying, hey, mate, you're not playing next week. It's as simple as that. You're back in reserves, not the coach.
Just be a good human being and everything will be fine. It's really not that hard. I mean, I know we're all done stupid things in our life, but it's not that hard. It really isn't that hard. Just don't be an idiot.
That's it.
What's under there? Because I'm going to talk about a bit of
Go for it.
A-League, mate.
Go A-League, mate. I haven't worn this for a few years, in all honesty. The Raw's been on the outer. I've been busy, but...
You've been busy.
I've been busy more than anything.
Yeah, it's very busy.
So
working 4 days a week,
Change of scenery this year,
It seems to be... The fans who are there seem to really enjoy the Redcliffe ground. 10,000 capacity. Expansion, upgrading it to 17,000, which is pretty good. That's what I was told. Personally, it's not good because I have to go to Redcliffe. I haven't yet gone to a game, but I will try to do it. But the on-field results, the Raw beating the Victory 5-2 on Saturday night. Some really nice goals. Top of the table, the Raw at the moment, with the game in hand. I know it's only early days, but gee, they look alright.
4 wins in a row.
Yeah.
That's not 4 non-losses, it's 4 wins.
4 wins, that's right.
And a couple of big wins.
Yeah. And we had, so with the new team this year in the A-League is Macarthur Football Club, which is southwest Sydney. Okay. And so you've got 2 Western Sydney teams, you've got the Western Sydney Wanderers as well.
Wow, okay.
So Sydney now with 3 teams, that certainly has the player base to support that. So this was the first Western Sydney derby, Macarthur versus the Wanderers, which is going to be the A-League is certainly hoping will be a big rivalry, you know. Sure. The game finished 2-2, and a couple of the goals, there was a scorpion kick, one that was amazing, a long range one. I mean, that was some excellent football.
Are these overseas players or locals?
No, they're ours. So interesting standard. The A-League, you know, rocky times. There's big questions about the whole league really and its viability and so forth. But the football's been pretty good. Yeah,
good one.
I'm going to try to catch a bit more of it going forward and I'll get to a game and we'll talk a bit more about it.
See if I can come out with you to a game and get the old get
the chance on. I'll have to drive that day, I can tell you. So that'll be good. Hopefully the A-League can keep going, improving. In the EPL, just quickly, Manchester United had a bad one. 3-3 draw with Everton after leading 2-0. Everton scored in the 95th minute. Man City are playing so well that Man U, to win, they can't draw. They need to win because Man City are running away with it. And on that front, Man City went to Liverpool. I said last week I thought it was Liverpool's only real chance to retain the title was to win, or at least not lose. They got beaten 4-1 at home by Man City, who they're just lighting it up. I mean, they're all over it. It looks to me like after a pretty solid year, a tight year, the last part of the season, Man City are just gonna streak off.
Right.
So interesting times. Champions League starting up soon. That might complicate things a little bit, but and I can't see anyone beating City at the moment. Liverpool now are going to just be trying to get that top 4 and go from there with the likes of United and West Ham and Tottenham and all those other clubs. Top 4, obviously is the big one for Champions League next year.
Yeah. I hear a lot of the money, you can basically have the GDP of a small country in some of these football teams.
Yeah, the money's wild. Alright mate, well that's all we got time for. Episode 6 done and dusted mate, how'd you feel?
Good mate.
I'm not going to ask you to see what's under that. Let's not do that. But no, thanks everyone for watching and we'll touch base with you next week and enjoy the week. See you next time.